Revell just came out with their new Audi RS E-Tron GT. It is a 1/24th scale kit. However, it is an easy click system, so it is more doable for the inexperienced builders and probably to get some people excited to build again. Nonetheless, I'm very excited to see a new Audi subject being made into a plastic model kit and not a super expensive resin kit. So let's dive into the box, see what is inside, go over the contents a little bit, and then jump into a bit more detail further on in the video. With this being an electric car, it doesn't really have all that much detail on the chassis. It's just a plain flat battery and some aerodynamic flat pieces. Nonetheless, they did spend some time adding all of the details on here, I think for all of the bolt holes and mounting and stuff like that. And also did spend some time on the rear diffuser, making that look really cool. The front, nothing really special. The suspension mounting system, since it is still an easy click system, I guess they just took some shortcuts there, made that a lot easier to assemble, and just didn't add too much detail in there. Not a really big deal, as most of this will be hidden by the wheels and the brakes, and none of it will be seen anyway. Speaking of the wheels, they are made into multiple pieces. Now normally with Revell, the wheels are usually the first part you want to swap out, as they're either too small, just not the right wheel, that doesn't really look good on the car, simply chose the wrong option. And in this case, there aren't really all that many options for wheels on the E-Tron, but they chose the ones that did look the coolest in my opinion, and they also made it a lot easier to paint them in different pieces. As the actual wheels are painted in multiple pieces, they have made it so easy that there are a couple of separate parts for the wheels themselves. And in this case, there is also a small piece for the interior. The dashboard looks nice and detailed, has some detail on top, a couple of separate pieces that need to be added on. Some of the vents and the radio and all stuff is there too, looking really nice. There are a couple more pieces for the chassis, again flat pieces for aerodynamic purposes and stuff like that. Some of the other pieces for the front, the windshield cowl and the window wipers, they are somehow molded separately, even though that could have been easily done in one part probably. No big deal, but just a bit of a strange remark. There is a part missing right here, just simply fell off the sprue, nothing special. This is part of their simplified suspension. The brakes themselves do look kind of bad, to be honest. They have some sink marks on both sides for this one. This one just has one, and for the rear they also have a couple, so maybe I will be swapping those out, and if not, that at least will need to be filled up. That's a bit of a thumbs down from me. For the interior, there are also more detailed pieces. I believe this is for the headliner where the rear view mirror mounts to. License plate holder, the big front piece for in the bumper. This probably needs to be painted in black or body color. One of the two, I think gloss black, so it is nice to see this as a separate part, making it very easy to paint it and no complicated masking needing to be done there. Same for some of these vents over here, again probably needs to be painted in black or carbon fiber, but just having them as a separate piece makes it a lot easier. There are some mounting pegs on the rear as well. Since this is an easy click kit, I presume there's not a lot of glue required or any at all to fully assemble it. Steering wheel also nicely done. It looks a bit thin, but that could just be me. Some smaller details for the buttons are there too, and a small space for the logo to be put on as well. This top piece for the dashboard was missing on the dashboard, so it's a separate part. Of course the pedals and the nicely molded detailed mirrors. So as for the wheels, the main part is a silver piece. I believe this does need to be painted silver. And then these parts that I've shown you earlier just click in on top and can be painted in a different color. Probably does need a bit of highlighting here and there. Overall, for once, I believe this is one of the first times that I've seen it on a Revell. The wheels look to have the correct sizing, which is unusual. I'm thinking about swapping the wheels out, but after seeing these, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just use these. If not, leave a comment down below which wheels you think I should use on the build, and maybe I can print a custom set. For the rest of the interior pieces, there are two main big sprues with the major components. First one has the main chassis or interior tub. The rear parcel shelf is nicely detailed, has some crisp, sharp lines in them, and all the details are there. And for the rear seats, the bottom half is already molded in. Would have been nice, even though that this is a simpler kit, to have this as a separate part just to make it a lot easier to paint if you want to go for a different color. The bottom half for the front seats is also there, but this is half of the bottom half, so this isn't really important. The main seat will just be put on there. The top half of the rear seats is molded in a separate piece. It does have the nice detail in there for the stitching, which is really cool to see, and a nice feature on these Audis. And also the center console, lots of detail there. For the door panels and the front seats, they are molded separately as well. As you can see right here, we have the door panels. All of the detail pretty much is molded in here. I believe the door handles are separate parts. I could be wrong. Yes, I'm wrong. These are the door handles, so I think this is just one main piece with a bit of painting and some decals maybe. This will fully be finished up and no additional parts need to be added on there. The front seats, just like the rear ones, have the super cool stitching in there, nice details all around, and the back half of the seat is molded separately. Probably easier to paint it in a different color if you're going for anything but black. Nice to see it done, no big complaints there. For the details on the head and tail lights, at least the buckets, there are some chrome pieces. Same for the rear view mirrors on the side. The finishing on the chrome looks a bit crusty, not perfect, but on the main part that will stay visible, this will all be hidden. It's perfectly done, has some nice details in there, and does require a bit of painting to bring it fully to life, but the chrome parts are all there, and a good base to work from. As far as rubber goes, there are 4 pieces for the tires, all pretty much the same. They do have a bit of the sprue for the mounting still in there. I believe you just need to cut it out and then slot the wheel in. As you can see here, it has a bit of an edge, and that is where the back part of the wheel, this right here, you just simply push it in and that stops it. The front side that stays visible is unmarked, doesn't have any details on there. Would have been nice to have some Michelin or other branding on there, but probably due to licensing and keeping the cost down, they didn't. Not too bad. The thread there is really nice, and the rubber seems nice and squishy too. Good details here. Again, correct sizing, so it seems, which is refreshing. There is a nice big sprue of clear parts included too. This has the front windshield, rear one, side windows, clear parts for the front and rear. It does still need quite a lot of painting. I believe this needs to be painted in at least 1 or 2 different clear colors. The front doesn't really need all that much attention. And the sides, of course, this will be gloss black, I think, and same goes for this part here and this part here. So it does require a lot of masking, and there is a edge here as well. That is for the actual rubber trim, so this needs to be masked and painted multiple different times, but at least all of the detailing and the edges are in there pretty well. So it should be really easy to mask and cut it out. Same goes for the front and rear window. Very clear outline, which again is nice and refreshing. Not all kits have a super nice and clear outline to follow, and these are really, really well represented here. There is one small sprue molded in the blue body color as well, which is kind of weird to see. It's not really molded all that well, so not painting it isn't really an option for me. Kind of never is. But for some people who don't want to paint it with all of these weird lines and stuff in there, and also some of the sinkholes for the pins to glue it in, it does need quite a lot of body work here and there to finish it off properly. Nonetheless, the details are there, look nice and sharp, and typically Audi. So just like that small sprue, the main body is also molded in that metallic blue. Kind of weird choice, as I don't even think this is an option on the real E-Tron RS, at least. Maybe on the regular GT, but I haven't seen any in this color, and I don't really think it's a particularly nice color. Maybe just a white or black or even a red would have looked better, but they decided to go for a blue. Probably has something to do with marketing, but I don't know. All of the mold lines, or some of the mold lines, not really visible, not really hard to remove. The panel lines are a bit wide but not too deep, so they do require a little bit of work all round. Overall, looking really good, and I'm really excited to start building it. Another strange thing, this one has a decal in it for a carbon roof, but from the inside it looks like the roof lining for the panoramic sunroof. Kind of strange. Would have been cool to have the panoramic sunroof as it goes from front to back, but only from the inside. And then finally, the stickers and decals. Now, since it is an easy click system kit, that means it should be quite easy to assemble, and therefore they have added stickers in there, as decals can be quite challenging for first-time builders. So the stickers are there. I'm of course not going to be using these. I will be going for the decal sheet. It has pretty much all of the same decals on there as that sticker sheet, but then in decal form, so that is usable for the scale modeler that wants to build this kit a bit more seriously. Now, like I said, this one has the decal for the carbon roof. Carbon fiber looks quite nice. It used to be pretty crappy in these Revell kits, but they've really upped their game. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this. I'd rather have some other decals that I like to work with better, and I think the details are nicer on, but it's good to have this in the kit, pre-cut and ready to put on.